Welcome to another deep dive. We're going to be looking at all this really fascinating AI news
Yeah,
straight from the source. Twitter, Reddit, all those crazy Discord servers.
absolutely. It's a lot to cover.
It is a lot to cover.
Huh.
We even have a source that claims to have saved readers 248 minutes of reading time this week alone.
Wow.
So,
That's like a part-time job.
it is. It is. So let's jump right in.
Let's do it.
Okay. First up, we found this thing where open source AI models, they're just not refusing to answer anything.
Yeah, the refusal rates are amazingly low, almost zero.
What is a refusal rate?
So a refusal rate is when an AI model basically says, I can't answer that, or I don't know, or I refuse to answer that, right? And so
You give it a prompt, and it just doesn't give you a response.
and these open source models like Mistral Large and these Llama variants, they're just eating everything up.
Yeah, they don't seem to care how big or how complex the model is.
They're willing to tackle anything you throw at them.
Well, why are the proprietary models more prone to this then? Is it because they have limited data sets, or
Potentially.
are they being more cautious?
Could be. They're probably trained on data where they are told to refuse certain types of prompts. So maybe more cautionary, maybe a little bit more, careful about what they're outputting. And these open source models are just like, let's go.
Yeah, like, let's play.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. Have you heard of SVDQuant?
I have.
It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
It's
It's got some potential.
it makes stable diffusion
Yeah.
like 3 times faster.
Which is pretty amazing,
Which
right?
is amazing.
For anyone who's used Stable Diffusion, it can be,
It can take a while.
it can take a while.
And so, like, to have something that makes it 3 times faster.
Especially if it's actually producing better quality, too, from some of the reports I've seen.
Yeah, some early reports are saying that the quality is better as well.
Yeah.
So how does it work?
So from what I understand, it's a little bit technical, but it basically compresses
Compresses the model's information down.
yeah, all the instructions in the data.
Right.
So it's working with it in a super efficient format.
So, like, what kind of potential do you see from this?
Oh, man. Like, imagine rendering complex scenes, like, immediately.
Oh, wow.
Right. I mean, that would be like a total game changer for people who work with, 3D graphics or anything like that. Like, imagine doing like rapid prototyping or design.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay. So moving on from speeding up workflows to potentially reshaping industries, AI-generated ads, the market's supposed to hit $3 trillion by 2030.
Yeah, that's a big number.
That's a big number.
And there's a lot of people talking about this. Like, even on the Hugging Face Discord, there's discussions about the potential strain on our digital infrastructure.
Sure.
Like, can our systems even handle the data processing that's going to be needed for all these AI-generated ads?
That's a really good question. And what about the people? What about the people involved in creating the ads now?
Yeah. What happens to those jobs? What happens to creativity? I mean, what even is advertising
Right,
in a world where AI is making all of it?
right. Like, is human ingenuity going to be able to survive?
Right. Are we going to be able to coexist with these powerful algorithms? Who
Yeah.
knows, right?
Yeah. It's a very interesting question.
It's a big question.
It is a big question. Okay, so enough about the future of billboards. Let's talk about how we interact with technology on a day-to-day basis.
Okay.
Have you ever wished that your phone or your computer just understood what you wanted to do?
All the time.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so this is Ferret UI. It's an AI that can understand user interfaces better than ever before.
It's wild, right? Like, it doesn't just see the elements on the screen. It understands what they're supposed to do
Yeah.
and, like, the context of how they work together.
So it's already outperforming GPT-4v
Yeah.
in certain UI tasks.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy because GPT-4v for a while was like the gold standard for visual understanding.
Yeah, it was.
Now there's a new sheriff in town.
What's really cool is that it can really grasp the nuances of, mobile UI design, like those really skinny aspect ratios and those tiny buttons
Yeah.
that everyone hates.
It just gets it.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary how well it understands it.
So what does that mean for us?
I mean, imagine a future where, like, your phone just knows what you want to do before you even do it.
Oh, that would be nice.
Right. Like, technology that actually adapts to our intentions instead of us having to adapt to it.
Right.
It's pretty mind-blowing
Yeah.
when you think about it.
It is. It is.
Yeah, it really makes you think, like, how will this change things?
Yeah, it really does. Okay. So speaking of blurring the lines between humans and machines, let's talk about AGI. Artificial general intelligence.
Ooh, the big one.
The big one.
Everyone's talking about it.
So before we get carried away with, like, robots taking over the world, let's back up.
Okay.
What does AGI even mean?
Right. So AGI, it's basically, when an AI system has the same general intelligence as a human.
Okay.
It's not just good at one thing.
Right.
It can learn, reason, problem solve, adapt to new situations, just like we can.
So is this like machines thinking like us?
Yeah.
Passing the Turing test, writing novels?
Well, I mean, not quite yet.
Okay.
But there's this model. It's OpenAI's O1 model.
OpenAI, okay.
And they're saying that, they're seeing signs of human-level reasoning in this model.
Wait, is this like the same Reddit where people are arguing about, the best way to fold a fitted sheet?
Yeah, it's Reddit,
Oh.
but it's not all memes and cat videos.
Right.
There's actually some really interesting discussion happening
Okay.
about how this O1 model is thinking.
Okay.
People are comparing it to human System 2 thinking.
System 2. That sounds
It sounds complicated.
complicated.
But it's not really. So, System 1 thinking is fast, intuitive, automatic.
Right.
The sky is blue, fire is hot.
Okay. You don't even have to think about it.
Right.
System 2 is slower, more deliberate.
Got it.
It's what you use when you're solving a math problem or planning a trip.
Okay. So how does this relate to O1?
So people are saying that O1 is using more of that System 2 thinking than other AI models. It's actually thinking things through.
Interesting. But are we really on the verge of creating machines that think like us? Or is this all just hype?
Right. It's a valid question.
Yeah.
I mean, the jury is still out on what one can really do.
Okay.
Some people are like, oh, it's just pattern recognition. It's not really reasoning.
Right.
Others are like, true AGI would require the AI to learn and adapt on the fly while it's thinking, which is something we haven't really seen yet.
So is Sam Altman getting a little ahead of himself?
Maybe a little bit. I mean, he's got to keep the investors happy.
Right, of course.
But even if O1 isn't, the AGI revolution everyone's talking about, it's still a huge step forward.
And it brings up all these questions what does it mean for AI? What does it mean for society?
What happens when AI can understand us better than we understand ourselves?
Ooh, that's a good one.
It is a good one, isn't it?
That's a scary thought. Yeah, and it really makes you think about all the things we talked about, right? All these advancements from the open source models that are ready to answer anything to the potential of these ads that are going to be generated by AI. And just how we even use our devices.
Yeah.
There's this common thread of accessibility and empowerment.
Oh, yeah.
If we use this technology responsibly, it can really break down barriers and create a better future for everyone.
Yeah, imagine a world where language barriers don't even exist anymore.
Yeah.
Because of AI translation.
Exactly.
Or where education, personalized education is available to anyone.
Yeah, or healthcare, AI helping doctors diagnose diseases better.
Oh, wow.
There's so much potential for positive change.
It really is inspiring to think about how we can use this for good.
Yeah, and that's the thing, The future of AI isn't set in stone. It's something that we're all creating together.
So what can we as the listener do to be a part of this?
Well, I think the first thing is just to stay informed.
Yeah.
Right? Keep learning about AI.
Stay curious.
Yeah, what it can do, what it can't do. And then don't be afraid to actually get involved. There's so many open source projects out there that you can contribute to.
Yeah.
You can join discussions about the ethics of AI. You can just talk to people about it, spread awareness. It's not just happening in labs. It's happening all around us.
Yeah, AI is everywhere.
So as you go about your day, think about, how is this going to affect my life? How is this going to affect my work, my community?
Right.
And what can I do to make sure it's used for good?
That's a great point to end on.
I think so.
I think so, too. So thanks for joining us for another deep dive into the world of AI. And until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Absolutely.